Moonshiners Master Distiller is a reality TV competition created in 2020 as a spin-off from the popular Discovery Channel docu-series Moonshiners. Each episode follows 3 distillers from different parts of the US as they compete in making a liquor of choice for the title of Master Distiller. The show is hosted and judged by Eric Maines, Mark Ramsey, Tim Smith, and Jeremy Schwartz, who guide the audience through the competition process with their entertaining commentary. Aside from publicity, each winner sees their liquor get a limited release through Sugarland Distilling Co in Tennessee. While the original Moonshiners took place in the Appalachian Mountains of the northeastern US, this spin-off is mainly being filmed in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, the city known for its numerous distilleries. It's a home to many major moonshine-making companies, such as Sugarland Distilling Co, Thunder Road Moonshiners, and Old Smoky Moonshine, among others. However, Moonshiners Master Distiller isn't limited by its location, and welcomes people from all over the US as possible competitors. Other winners of the show. Although the potential second installment of Clash of the Champions hasn't been confirmed by the network yet, there is a lot of potential given the large number of winners from previous seasons of Master Distiller. The last season of Master Distiller was perhaps the most exciting to date, featuring professional moonshiners making 21 different types of liquor, including corn whiskey, Slivovitz, Eastern European brandy made from plums, and Italian grappa. One of the distillers from Season 3 we may potentially see compete for the ultimate title is Leo Soadogo, who won the 9th competition with his Baobab brandy. Interestingly enough, it was Leo's second shot at winning, as he's already competed in Season 2, but his peach brandy ultimately wasn't chosen by the judges. However, as he revealed in an interview he gave for the magazine Montclair Local, the legendary Tim Smith still saw a lot of potential in him. "I learned a lot the first time, and I came back to Montclair, fine-tuned my stuff, and then, luckily, Tim Smith, who became one of my good friends, called me back and said, 'Hey, I don't think I've seen half of what you can do. I need you back on the show.'" Also, one of the Season 3 winners is Brian Hammer, recognized for his long beard, who won with his breakfast boost liquor inspired by blueberry pancakes. Brian comes from Maine, a state better known for their beer-making industry, but also a home to more than 35 licensed distilleries, which produce gins, vodkas, whiskeys, and many other spirits. Brian is notably the president of the Maine Distillers Guild and a distiller at New England Distilling in Portland, Maine. It's unclear whether he was contacted about appearing in Clash of the Champions, but is said that he would like to compete in the show again. Another winner we may see again is Chris Uehara, the owner of the Last Shot Distillery in New York City, who won back in Season 2 with his Japanese-style whiskey. Chris himself is of Hawaiian and Japanese ancestry and works as a chef and culinary instructor at Syracuse University's Falk College, and is also a world-renowned ice carver. The original Moonshiners series started airing back in 2011, highlighting the life of people who produce moonshine in the Appalachian region. It immediately made waves as the show labeled a lot of activities that took place as illegal. However, despite its dubious history, moonshine that we see produced on the show appears to be made legally. Virginian authorities have even stated that they didn't observe any illegal activities taking place, and if that was the case, it would result in prosecution. They have also said that they requested the network to add the disclaimer, clarifying that the show is a dramatization, but the request was apparently ignored. What is usually referred to as moonshine is actually any type of liquor produced at home, without a license. However, in recent years, the term has taken on a new meaning, and in stores we can often come across various types of spirits labeled as moonshine. What the name refers to in such cases is usually either a neutral grain spirit or white, unaged whiskey, often flavored with fruits and spices. Commercial moonshine has become very popular in the US because it's a lot easier to produce compared to a whiskey and bourbon, which may take years to mature, meaning that a lot of small distilleries can come up with their own brand of moonshine and start selling it right away. The name itself also carries a dose of mystique, as moonshine is often associated with outlaws and the Prohibition era. Moonshine historically refers to white whiskey made with barley or corn mash, which has its origins in Scotland and Ireland, but was popularized in the US. Moonshining became a common practice in the US following the American Revolution, as the US government started placing taxes on alcohol in order to help pay off its debts. American farmers who had been producing grain-based liquor for years up to that point were very displeased with the decision, which led to the so-called Whiskey Rebellion, in which George Washington led a crackdown on farmers producing alcohol from their grain. In 1862, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives passed the infamous 1862 Revenue Act, which officially imposed a tax on alcohol and outlawed distilling without a permit. Unsurprisingly, moonshining accelerated during the Prohibition era, 1920 to 1933, as it was impossible to produce alcohol any other way. Moonshine production primarily took place in the Appalachian region, where the limited road network made it easier to avoid revenue officers, and where the locally grown corn had more value as moonshine than in its raw, dry form. After the distillation process was completed, drivers known as bootleggers or runners would go out to distribute moonshine to customers in cars specifically modified for speed and carrying capacity. After the ban on alcohol was lifted in 1933, the out-of-work runners kept their skills sharp by organizing races, which eventually led to the formation of NASCAR, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, in 1948. After World War II, moonshining still remained a somewhat less common practice, usually done with the intention of avoiding taxation. One of the most famous moonshiners of all time is Marvin Popcorn Sutton, whose life story was featured on Moonshiners. He came from a long line of moonshiners, starting with his Scottish-Irish ancestry. He was convicted 5 times for producing and distributing untaxed alcohol. He suicided in 2008, allegedly to avoid a prison sentence. During his life, he wrote and self-published a guide to moonshining, released a home video depicting the moonshining process, and was the subject of several documentaries. Aside from the US, moonshining is a common practice in other parts of the world as well, particularly in areas of Eastern Europe, where fruit brandies such as rakia, slivovitz, or soplika are often distilled at home and sold without a license. On the other hand, Finland is known for their home distilled vodka, based on fermented water called pontika. Unlicensed moonshining is legal in Finland, but making pontika is often considered as a hobby and isn't prosecuted unless the authorities are made aware that the product is being sold in commercial quantities. Perhaps the most notorious moonshine is Arki Odingtal, made in Cameroon, which has an alcohol content of up to 80%.
Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.